Hello and welcome to the Blood Bowl Diaries, episode 7, with me, Hellboy.
And me, theFear.
Episode 7. We are rattling through these at a rate of knots.
Episode 7. Who would have thought we'd get here?
I know. There we were back in December 2021, chatting away, going, hey, you know what would be a good idea? We could do a podcast. Yeah, sure, yeah, nice and casual. And now look at us, churning them out.
I mean, to be fair, you were pretty professional at this stuff coming in, but I do feel like I've got a vague idea what's going on now.
I think it's good. It's good fun.
And
So,
how have we? How have we gone? Like, are we get? Is anybody listening to it?
yeah, we've had a fair few listeners. We're definitely breaking the 3 digits. Pwah, on the episodes, which is really nice. And I actually met someone. His name escapes me. I'm gonna have to look it up before I do the recap. But I met someone at the most recent tabletop tournament who came up to me and said how much he enjoyed the podcast. So I'll give him a proper shout out when we come to my tabletop recap, because I know who he played, so I can go digging for his name.
That's amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Super.
In 3 figures. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, to everyone that listens, thank you ever so much.
Yes.
Hope you enjoy hearing me and Hellboy talk nonsense about Blood Bowl. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're doing this because we would just talk to each other anyway, wouldn't we? So.
Oh yeah, that's it really. So the fact that people like to eavesdrop on our conversation is amazing.
Yeah, that's basically what you're doing. You're just listening into conversations about tournaments that we would have anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. Well, shall we get onto a little bit what we've been up to? Shall I go first? You tend to go first on these. So shall I go first with this one today?
Yes, I'd like to hear what you've been up to. What have you been up to?
Wonderful. Well, let's touch briefly on my tabletop league that I'm in.
Yeah.
I think the last time we did an episode, I'd played 2 games. Now I've played 3 games.
Wow.
The league is running somewhat slowly. I'm 3-0-0 at the top. The issue being it's we just kind of have do you fancy playing this evening, guys? Yeah, sure, or nah, or no reply kind of thing. And unfortunately, we're kind of dipping into the more no replies. So I'm going to be doing some friendlies with a few of the guys there, just to do some tournament rule sets kind of things, just to get a bit of Blood Bowl going in the shop and stuff. And I've been chatting to the guy who's been doing the league, so hopefully something will be picking up for the next season of that. But yeah, it seems to have sadly died a death, because it was rather exciting at the beginning. 12 people signed up, and lots of games got played in the first few weeks, and then it dropped off. So that's where that is. But I'm still technically winning the league. So undefeated, 3 wins. Yeah, top of the local league.
It's a hard thing, because I think even the sort of the advice that you're given in the rule books, I mean, it used to. I think it probably still does. Is to run it in that kind of sort of open format where you just kind of pick up a game as and when. Having run a fairly large tabletop league that went up to about, I think we had 42 or 45 at one point. The first season that I ran as an open format was the hardest. The next 4 or 5 seasons that I ran, I pretty much published a sort of, you will play these 2 people within inside a 4-week period, and I published the whole thing up front, so it kind of covered like 3 months, so that people could know who they had to play, and it giving a deadline seems to sort of chivvy people on a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We see this with the things like the Fumble NAF tournaments, your the TSD league. 2-week window to get a game played. You appreciate that people have real life, but at the same time, you also know if it just sits there doing nothing, then you end up in a situation like this where no Blood Bowl match has been played for the last 3 weeks. In the league, and
it sort of kills it, doesn't it? But good on you for trying to continue to get people to play some tournament stuff, and
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's going on with that, and then the other thing that was running on the background was I was in the Chalice for Blood Bowl 2, so the big knockout tournament for Blood Bowl 2, and I can't remember where I was in the last episode, but I managed to win the quarterfinal versus Misspelled Trees Pro Elves with my Dark Elves, and then
I,
I was
I
leading
we were
the.
just before that
Oh,
game. We were just before that game last time, I think. Yeah.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So I beat Misspelled Tree in the quarterfinals, beat her Pro Elves, and then I played versus a guy called Ungern. I played versus his human team. I was 2-0 up on his drive, and lost the game 3-2. So I got eliminated in the semi-final, and Ungern went on to win it. But I had a great time. I enjoyed myself a lot, and it was a crazy semi-final. So yeah, it was good fun all round. I think.
I thought, watching the video back, because they all on YouTube and Twitch and in various places, aren't they? I thought it was a really interesting one. Perhaps not so much for you, but for anyone that finds themselves, in a losing a game because you turned him over, didn't you, and scored to go 1-0
Oh
and
yeah,
then did it again.
yeah, yeah,
And at that point, he could easily have just sort of given up, but he managed to get one back just before half time, didn't he? And
yep,
then and
yep.
then and then your team just died.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm actually going to touch on this with the tabletop tournament, but I think you're absolutely right. I think that there's a lot of mental strength that you need to go through, and sometimes it does pay off, and a lot of what we put ourselves through sometimes, in terms of, particularly you and I have been we talk a lot about the process. We talk, as we say, in this podcast, we talk a lot about less dice based results. We're looking at more where the decisions can be made and things like this. And I think that's something that people kind of forget is experience. You need to experience games where you've been losing 2-0 and won, and you need to experience games where you've been winning 2-0 and lost. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, you if you can learn from that and know that you found yourself in a situation, and then you push on through. I think I mentioned in one of the earlier podcasts about when I played a TSD game on a Wednesday, and my Necro team got demolished, and I pulled out a draw. And then up at the UKTC, I found myself in a very similar position, getting demolished, and was able to cling on for a win in a match there, because I'd found myself in that situation earlier in the week and knew that I could stick in it and find something to work, And yeah, so I think that's something that we often forget is actually, these experiences, being beaten 4-0 sometimes doesn't feel great, but actually there may be things you can draw from it. You can learn from these situations.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'll probably touch on some stuff similar to that in this podcast as well. Actually, some really weird things. Sometimes you just got to keep playing. Just got to keep playing, and it's a dice game, right? So you
Yeah,
never know. You never
exactly.
know what can happen.
Exactly, and as much as we avoid from looking at specific dice-based results and actions and stuff, at the end of the day, as you say, it is a dice-based game. The fact that we're playing a game where a 6 is an automatic success and a 1 is an automatic fail, um, it just adds another dimension to it, really. Because if you just
Yeah,
roll 3 6s, then anything can happen. You know. So yeah, so that's that. So yeah, so that was a nice run in the semi-finals. Then the
yeah.
other thing.
Right.
Oh,
That's big. That's big stuff. That's big stuff. So
oh, thank you,
congrats.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was good fun. And then the other thing that happened, of course, is I finished my season of TSD, the Tackle Zone Star Divisions that you run. I finished what was it, 1-1-3-2, I think it was, with in the end with my Necro. I very nearly went 2-2-2. And nearly finished second in the division, which shows how
Hey,
competitive it was. That 2-2-2 would have actually put me in second. That's how competitive it was. First was out by miles. What's his name? The Italian. What's his name?
uh, La Iena.
Leyena. That's the one. Yeah. Just
Or
demolished.
for He's Liena on Blood Bowl, and I think on just for normal NAF stuff, he's Yenna, just without
Ah,
the
right,
la
yeah.
at the start.
Yeah, absolutely killed it
He
in
won every game.
yeah, killed it, absolutely killed it. I nearly drew versus him, but yeah, he absolutely killed it through the whole season. Absolutely deserved to get to the playoffs. So yes, that was
Yeah.
TSD over, and then the only other thing that I've really done because I've been quite busy in real life, and I had COVID for a third time, which is just
Well done.
grossly unlucky. Yeah, the only other thing I've done is the tabletop tournament, which I'll be coming on to in a bit. But I know that and the new thing that's starting, of course, is the Super League on
Oh,
Fumble, which I am in, and I've been redrawn. We will say nothing about that, but I have been redrawn against the worst possible matchup. So I'm absolutely fuming. So how dare I get drawn as versus lizards when I'm playing Chaos Dwarves? There's just no justice. But anyway, I'm sure you're going to come onto the Super League. So yeah. So
yeah.
basically, that's me until my tabletop tournament. So take us away, Fear. What have you been up to?
Um, well, I also finished my TSD run with my high elves. I suppose I technically finished 1-2-2, but then wasn't able to get my last game arranged. So I just I run the league, so I threw the forfeit in, and so technically I'm 1-2-3. Which I'll take because it was a pretty tough division I had. I think what did I have? I had Pete W, Joe Manji, Strider, Kithor. Um, oh God. Um,
I know none of these names. These I don't know who you're talking about. These
right.
sound
Well,
these sound like schmucks, mate. You know.
yeah. Who else? I had Java, who was the longest running NAF champ of all time, thanks to COVID. Yeah, it was. It
No,
was.
very
It was.
quality.
Oh, well, sorry. I had the Omlord as well,
Oh,
obviously.
just to round it all off, no, absolutely quality division that one, and also, I know this sounds like the two of us just patting each other on the back, saying how well done Hellboy, you're doing great. Oh, thanks Fear, well done Fear, you're doing great. Absolute credit to you again. You've run a phenomenal TSD, and I'm really looking forward to the next one and the Super League, as I touched on earlier as well. So no, absolutely huge credit to you for what you've done by pulling together some of the biggest, toughest, strongest, scariest names in Blood Bowl, throwing them all together in a pit and going, right boys and girls, it's time to fight.
Well, you know what? It's been really good, and we've given the Euro Bowls a real run out, and I suppose we keep promising people we'll explore that at some point in a future podcast, which I suppose we probably should do.
Yeah, probably the next one, because I've got no tabletop tournaments until August now. So, and I
Yeah,
think
I might be September. So
there we go.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sounds like a next
just
episode. Yep.
just briefly for people, I suppose the quarterfinals were Pete W's Dark Elves versus Backy's Orcs. Euro Bowls, we should say. Spence, who people will know as Dionysian, with Tomb Kings, is playing Niebling and his Necromantic Horror. Um, we've got Liam from NAF, or Liam Gallagher, I think it was, with his Chaos Dwarfs. Actually, oh no, sorry, that's a lie. It was Liena. It was Liena and his Lizards was up against his Italian teammate Dirold and his Dark Elves. And the other one was an all Danish affair, a chap called Pete DK with Roller Dwarfs up against a chap called Madvig with High Elves. What's interesting is that if Spence were to lose against Niebling and the Necro were to make it through to the semi-finals, the makeup of the semi-finals would basically be identical to the makeup of the semi-finals last time, in the sense that the teams would be Dark Elves, Necro, and Dwarves, which is
Wow.
just quite interesting in such a big league.
Yeah, such a big league that not only do you see high level coaches getting through to the top, but also the similar races. Fascinating.
Interesting. Yep. So that's onto the playoffs, and we're thinking about. I'm going to trying to squeeze one more in before Euro Bowl.
Lovely.
So news on that soon. Then I was approached by well, he's one of our listeners now, actually, who is a chap called Triple Skull, who is
Shout out to Triple Skull, one of the triple digit listeners there.
yes, yeah, absolutely, who is a exceptionally good coach and I believe captain of the Danish Euro Bowl team. And he'd had an idea about doing something slightly different. So the idea would be that we run a NAF style resurrection kind of league, so very tournament style. But we do it with a relegation and promotion element, so that you can if you do well one season you get promoted, or if you do badly you might get relegated, and it means that people can sort of play in that sort of fashion. But also, we can give the ranking to the coach rather than the team, because it's not like not like something like the White Isle League or something like that, where you kind of build your team up and progress it over several seasons and then make the Premier League. In this instance, because it's progression, you can change the rule sets massively between seasons. So we can do something with no tiers, we can do something with lots of tiers, we can use Euro Bowl rules, World Cup rules, but all with this idea that people would find their sort of ranking spot and be playing against people of a sort of similar level all of the time.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I really like that. I really like that. The fact that there's the ability to change, and with reasonably short seasons as well. You don't have to be playing super long seasons, and because there's no playoffs, right? Because you're just doing the ranking, and then you can either get promoted or relegated. And if you drop out and want to come back in 2 seasons' time, you can just start from the bottom again. But I really like that, because it does give people the chance to not just stagnate on one team in the perpetual league and then maybe get absolutely blasted in one season and everything die, and then go, oh right, well I'll start again with a different team now. You can just change team every season. You can change race every season, which I think is brilliant and really, really clever idea.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it goes well. I mean, we've had, I think, I can't remember, was it about 70, 80, was it bang on 80 coaches sign
Yeah.
up for season one? And we're running season one as a 6-game Swiss, sort of, like a NAF tournament, really.
Yeah, it's a
And then
pre-ranking kind of thing, isn't
yeah,
it? Just to shake people up a bit so that you don't just do random divisions.
yeah, because I don't just want to go into the NAF rankings or the tabletop rankings or the online rankings, or I don't want to say, well, you know, I don't want to be making decisions about who should be in what level. Basically, that's not. I'm not. I don't regard myself as being uh, having the right to say, well, that player's a better player than that player.
Yeah, and
Or
also the other thing is you might be able to call out a few names for where you'd put them in each division, but then for the you could let's say you got divisions of 6, you could probably pick the three that you would be happy seeing in the top division, but who the next 3 that go in Division 1 are, and then the next 3 that go in Division 2, you could never pick them. They're too close.
exactly.
Like Blood Bowl is too closer game. You could never make those decisions accurately. So I think this is really a fair way of doing it.
Yeah, so we run the Swiss, and then we basically the top 8 go into the Premier League, and then the next 16 go into the 2 supporting divisions, and then we'll see what we've got after that, basically. And we'll set it up, and it'll just roll then, just season on season, with a few weeks break in between each one.
Yep,
And
sounds wonderful.
yeah, as you say, we had a slight hiccup. Triple Skull, very, very new to administrating leagues on Fumble. Made a bit of an error, which meant that we had to restart the league. And
Well, I heard that he didn't like his round 1 opponent. I'm not saying anything, and all I'm saying is that Triple Skull has effectively diced me here. How dare he give me the worst possible matchup? You know.
yeah. Well, lizards, and Dragonborn, who we've spoken about a few times.
Yeah, and our good and your good friend and
ranking. Yeah,
exactly. Great, thanks. You give me a guy who's hot on lizards at the moment. Also, shout out to Dragonborn because I know he'll enjoy listening to this one. He is a listener of the podcast, so shout out to Dragonborn and well done. I am very much looking forward to our game. All joking aside, but yeah.
It's like shame for me. It's because the numbers ended up being bang on even. I don't get to play.
Oh man! Oh, that's a load of rubbish.
And we've now got. I would have just subbed myself in, because with 80 coaches, someone's going to drop out. Someone's going to have a life event and have to drop out. So we've had 3 or 4 people approach since who are now on the shortlist. So
very good, very good. And would I be correct in saying that listeners of the podcast that are fumblers who were not aware that this is going on? Obviously, there's probably not time. There's no time to join now. But for the next season, you can slot in the low division and work your way up, presumably.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I'll be doing. So, yeah. Look, if anyone's on Fumble and they are, interested in NAF tournament style play, these 2 leagues that I run, so Tackle Zone, for being honest, is probably, it's full of Euro Bowl and similar kind of level players, right? So, if that's you, if you happen to be going to play for your nation in Euro Bowl and you play on Fumble and you haven't come across Tackle Zone yet, find theFear on Fumble and ping me a message, right? Do it fairly quick. But if that's not you, but if you play some tournaments and you want to get better, and Super League's going to be open to everybody. So again, just hit me up and I'll stick you on the wait list. And if somebody drops out, there might be a space for you now, or in 14 weeks' time, we'll be starting the second season. So you can just slot in the bottom division with me, and we'll see who can get promoted.
Yeah, no, and I would really recommend if you're listening to this podcast and you do like Fumble, and you're wanting to improve your Blood Bowl, do really consider getting involved in this stuff, because what Fear's managed to do with the Tackle Zone Star Division has rapidly improved my own Blood Bowl, and I know that the names that are there would not be playing in it if they also didn't think it was a good thing. And I think this Super League thing will go exactly the same way. I mean, 80 sign-ups for what? How long was it live for? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? The announcement before you set it all up. Out of nowhere, 80 coaches.
What's nice about this one, and again, being really honest, is I have felt like I've had to protect Tackle Zone a little bit, because the people that are in it generally are in it to play against as good an opponent as possible.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Super League is that the way that it works with the promotion and the relegation and all that kind of stuff, actually, we can just open it up and say anybody that wants to get involved is welcome.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is as well is you can be a really good coach. Like let me pick a name, Core, for example. Right, let's pick a name, Core, or your Joe Manji, your Pete W, something like this. And one of them can say, you know what, I'm going to just see how bad, Nurgle are really in a NAF style. And they could just do a season and just play Nurgle and just, or go, you know what, I want to see what Snotlings are really like. I'm going to play Snotlings. You know, and so you might well end up with some very good coaches playing some wacky builds and some different races that they normally wouldn't play, and using it for two purposes. Maybe one season they take it very, very seriously, and the next season they really don't.
Absolutely, I think that's exactly right, and I think the format should give us people lots of opportunity to have a bit of fun.
Exactly.
And if you take it seriously for a few seasons, you can. And if you want to chill out for a couple of seasons and see if you can come up with a successful halfling build, then you can do that. It's got endless possibilities. We'll just we'll have to see how it goes. So anyway, that all got set up, broken, and then fixed. So that's good. So
very good.
The other thing I've done is some French guys running a little team thing that I managed to. I signed up a while ago or tried to sign up to this French league a while ago, and failed because I was too late. And then all of a sudden, this message came around. So I've ended up putting a corn team in with Speeding Bullet, got a dark elf, and Dragonborn's got a lizard. And we're going to play in this little French. I think it's Euro. Yeah, it's Euro Bowl rules. I don't quite know why I put corn in. I don't understand half of what's happening because it's all in French. I'm pretty sure my team's correct. I'm pretty sure it's
Okay.
it's Euro Bowl rules, but we'll find out.
I mean, yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. You only live once.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they seem to just. It's called the Resurrection Blood Bowl. Is the league? It's probably worth finding at some point. But I was going to see how it went, and I'm going to give corn a go.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And suppose the final thing I've done is I completed my NAF tournament on Fumble, the Mid-Spring Mayhem. I think I was calling it the Midsummer Madness or something last time we spoke. So the
It was. I think you were getting a bit confused with Midsummer Night's Dream and Last of the Summer Wine and all these kind of things. Midsummer Murders, God knows what.
Well, absolutely, and so I completed my 6 games with the brand new Norse.
Fantastic. Now, before we go into this, right? Me and Fear communicate a lot over the platform Discord, which most of you may be aware of. But what Discord does is it pings you a little notification when someone has messaged you, okay? And often Fear will finish his games when I've gone to bed, and then when I get up very early in the morning, some mornings I wake up and the first thing I do is I turn my computer on and I check and I reply to Fear's message, right?
Thank you. Oh, mate, it's lovely. It
is lovely. It is lovely. However, when you send a message and then delete it later, it leaves the notification there. And the number of times after a match that you'd played, I would wake up to a notification and no message. And I didn't say anything about it because I was like, okay, this is, I knew what was going on, but I was like, okay, we'll see. And then eventually comes through the message where you went, I really want to talk about these games because crazy things are happening, but I just know I should save them for the podcast. So I'm effectively messaging you then going, I'll save it for the podcast and deleting it. So I am eagerly waiting for this feedback because I've got no idea what happened because you kept on deleting your messages.
Yeah, sorry, man.
just a little peek behind the curtain there for the listeners.
Well, you know what? Because in the first game, and we talked about it on the last podcast, right? I made an error and I got behind, and I'm chasing the game, and I end up getting beaten 4-1.
Yeah, you got whooped. Yeah, you got whooped from a mistake. You got then destroyed.
And so we've lost game 1. So game 2 is Chaos Renegades.
Okay.
And a chap called Akosian. I don't know. I mean, interesting build. And look, Renegades were quite popular because this rule set was quite similar to UKTC. And you'll remember that Raging 82 finished top individual.
Oh, so
UKTC with Renegades.
I see. So everyone went, aha, Renegades must be really good, not realising that Raging 82 took a crazy build and then played really well. So, okay.
I mean, this chap had leader on a thrower. Sensible.
Okay. Yeah.
He had Juggernaut on a Minotaur.
That's fine.
He had block on an ogre.
Oh, yeah, also fine.
Yeah. He had block on an orc.
Yep.
2 heads on a goblin.
Okay, nice.
Horns on a Skaven.
Okay.
And monstrous mouth on a dark elf.
Wow. What?
11-man roster.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah, I had to ask what it did because I didn't know.
Yeah.
11-player roster.
Okay.
Remember, he's got the leader.
Yes.
No rerolls.
Chef.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh, these chef builds. These chef
I
builds.
know.
They're popping up everywhere now.
Jeff builds. And you know what? You know, sometimes you have those games where you know quite early it's going to be your day.
Yeah.
On turn one, so he drove first, and then he hits the Norse and didn't really do anything. And then on turn one, he left his ogre in base contact with one of my linemen, and my play style, I'm popping in 2 assists and I'm throwing. I've got block, so it's a 2+. I'm throwing that 1 dice block. Yeah, that's.
Yep. Yep. Fair enough.
So my 1 dice block on turn 1 on his block ogre. Serious injury.
Nice.
Ogre gone for the match. And you know, that's kind of how it. You know, it's kind of how it went, really, in the sense that, you know, at one point I surfed his Minotaur.
Oh. Oof.
You know, it was just tough. So basically, the way it was set up, you got the Minotaur down the right, the ogre, the troll down the left, and the ogre in the middle. Once the ogre was popped, he went to go behind the Minotaur. That sort of got blocked off, so he went back the other way, and the ogre went the troll went stupid, and so I just piled in on his cage, and just basically based everything up. He had a 1 dice block, needing pushes to probably get something going to get out of it, and skull reroll skull.
Oh dear.
You know, I ended up with the ball. Valkyrie ran it in 1-0 at her half, and then, as I say, the second half was just a massacre. You know, his team just died en masse, really. So 2-0. You know, I felt for him. In those moments as his, but you know, he took it really well, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I made a couple of mistakes, and you know, fair play,
Good.
Absolutely fair play."
Good. So that's game 2. So you're now 1-0-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game 3, I played a chap called Millman with Corn.
Okay. Right. So that's a lot of frenzy on the pitch now.
Didn't know what to make of this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's pumping 12 players. He's got block on the blood spawn. He's got block on the blood seekers, and he's got guard, and sure hands on his corn gores.
Oh, nice.
No,
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very aggressive. The 2 rerolls though. I decided before the game that the best approach was to put him into bat, and really stack the second. You know, just put the 3 on the line of scrimmage, but then risk the quick snap and stack up the next line. Try and either frenzy trap him or mean that he was going to give me a load of blocks back the other way.
Yeah. Nice. Yep.
But obviously, I mean, he's got 4 strength 4 and a strength 5 piece. I've got 2 4s and a 5. He's got 2 guard. I've got 2 guard. So what ended up happening was that he knocked a couple of my players over, followed through, pushed his entire team into mine. And then I was looking at it going, I've got no blocks here. my genius plan has, gone awry.
It's fallen apart.
Yeah, I've got 1 dice block and I skull reroll skull.
Oh dear.
And then before I know it, my entire team is lying down.
Okay, but I will say one thing: if your team's lying down, you can't get hit twice with frenzy.
No. Well, the whole team's lying down, and I think Drunkard has probably saved me a couple of removals as well.
Oh, really? Oh, very nice. That's the thick skull kind of style, is it, or is that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Effectively, I think it's the combo thick skull and worst go for it, isn't it?
Oh, right, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I sort of try and stand up, and I'm looking for a 2 dice block, and I find one with my guard Ulf, and I both down skull.
Oh, dear.
So he's on the deck, and then the other line, the guy that was helping him gets put on the deck, and then we're and really that's the first sort of 4 or 5 turns. Just my whole team's lying down, and whenever I try and do anything, I just roll skulls.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think it's around turn 5, I finally find a 2 dice block that works, and I manage to kind of liberate 3 of my players because they're all, because of the frenzy, they're all smushed together. I'm my side of halfway in the middle of the pitch with all my team lying down and just surrounded by corn.
Yeah, and I guess the other risk you've got is that, thinking about it from a tactical perspective as well. Even though you're rolling these skulls, or one in nines or whatever it is that's knocking you over, you're not really able to stand your team up because you don't want them to get you don't want to stand up in base contact again with no good reason. So you can't even be making necessary tactical choices to go, right, I'm going to stand up these 3 guys and then do this block here, because you kind of probably need the block to work first in most instances, I'm guessing, to try and free some of these guys up, so you're not just doing insane dodges and getting away from this kind of corn surrounding you in the centre.
Yeah, I think there is, when you first learn to play the game, right? One of the first things that you do is you pick all of your players up at the start of the turn. Yeah,
Yeah,
you stand up all of your knockdowns.
they call it safe moves first. You do actions that don't require dice rolls.
And in this instance, I've already taken more blocks than I should ever want to take in a half of Blood Bowl with an AB7 team. And my team's lying down, and I'm not going to stand them up until I can start to free them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you just stand all 11 of them up to get punched, 10 of them to get punched again, you keep doing that. Eventually, you're going to have no team because you're just giving away the blocks.
Yep, exactly.
He doesn't seem particularly keen on fouling.
Okay.
So, I'm just trying to liberate my players. And I managed to liberate, as I say, 3 or 4 of them around, I think, turn 5. Even then, I run them the wrong way. He's now got the ball sat like by my end zone, and I run my players sort of past halfway the other way because I'm trying to get them not hit or tagged. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And then, over the following turns, I managed to find some more 2 dice blocks, and I free up some more players, and the ball stood by my end zone. I haven't got anything really, but on my turn 6, I run these 3 or 4 players halfway into my half of the field so that they're at least in range of his ball carrier. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
okay. So there's a little bit of a threat there, but presumably he can shut it down if he wants to.
And he knocks one of them over, and then he stands. So my Dodge Valkyrie is stood, I suppose, a couple of squares in from the sideline. I'm not getting surfed.
Yeah.
Within range of his ball carrier, in a straight line. Probably needs to go for it to make a hit. And he runs 2 players over to her, and he stands one on the sort of diagonal, and he stands one directly in front.
Okay. Yep.
And if he stood them both on the diagonals, in between me and the ball carrier,
yeah, you can't get through without a
I have
6+.
to dodge between them.
Yeah.
Which is a 3, 4, which is a 5+.
Okay, 5. All right.
By standing them the way he stood them, he's left me a 4+, 3+.
Yeah.
To get a 1 dice on the ball carrier.
Yeah.
With my Dodge Valkyrie.
Yeah. Which, given you've got the inbuilt dodge reroll and you've spent most of the half lying on your back, you're not gonna turn that one down.
No, and I've got 1 reroll left as well. and okay, I've got strip ball, but he's got sure hands.
Okay, yeah, but neither of you have block, so
So I need a 4, 5, or 6, right? So I make the 4+, I make the 3+, I hit him, I roll a push, I re-roll it. It's defender stumbles, down he goes.
oh,
I stick him in the corner of the end zone
yep,
to maximise the chances that the ball goes into the crowd.
yep.
It does, but sadly they sort of just pelt it along the touchline about 5 or 6 squares.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so
So
um, his turn, been lying down for the whole half, but
yes,
only one of them's been removed, and the ball's now on the floor on his turn 8.
yes, and his sure
And
hands piece is presumably out of range now as well.
yeah, so the play that he has is to pick the ball up with one of his pit fighters.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah, and try a passing play
yep,
to the now stood up sure hands guy.
okay.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy. Yep.
yeah, and he.
Oh, I'm losing. We've lost some audio from you, Fear. Apologies, podcast listeners. We appear to have lost. We appear to have lost the Fear. I do hope he will return soon. But while we wait for Fear to return in this rather live and exciting situation, I will give a shout out first of all to my second opponent from the NAF champs, who I sadly couldn't remember the name of, and it was Tommy McG was my Orc opponent who beat me 1-0 in game 2 of the NAF Championships. So thank you very much, Tommy McG, for that. So there's the shout out there. And then the shout out for the listener who was at the tabletop tournament, which I'll be talking about in a minute. Oh, I can hear sound from Fear.
Sorry, it's like technical issue there, Hellboy.
Yeah, no worries. I was filling with letting people know my opponent's name from NAF Champs that I'd forgotten in the last episode. So
who was it?
Tommy McG. That was the Orc opponent, and then I was about to do the shout out as you pinged in to the lad who came up to me at the tabletop tournament. It was Touchdown who said how much he enjoyed the podcast. So thank you very much, Touchdown. Big shout out to you and your Skaven on the weekend. Right, shall we continue with your bit now, Fear? Now I've done that bit. I filled it.
Mate, you are so professional.
I know. I'm so slick. I could tell there was something going wrong, and I stepped in.
Yeah. And 7 podcasts, and it's the first one that's where we've had a technical issue like that. So
exactly, yeah, it's not bad.
Apologies to our listeners.
No worries. Right, so you left us hanging with your opponent needing a pass with his whatever they call the pit fiends now, whatever it is now, lineman needing a pass to the sure hands Corngor.
Yeah, and it failed. So
thank God for that. There I was, poised, thinking to myself, "Oh my God, has he cut out?" Because he's just, he's just reminiscing about the horror that he faced as it rolled a 6-6-6, and all works.
And you know what? But this is one of those, isn't it? Where again, my team has been absolutely on the floor the entire game. For the first few turns, nothing's worked. Skulls, both down skulls, everything.
Yep.
And I find myself going to the second half with 11 players, and it's 0-0.
Yeah. Exactly, and you've stuck in it, and you've just given yourself that little chance of putting a few players in range, and then the opponent's made a rather unfortunate positioning error, which has given you a 4-3 rather than a 5-3, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm not gonna. He controlled my team really, really well for the whole half. So I'm not. Millman, very good player. It just we all make that kind of tiny little thing sometimes. Yeah. And so second half, get the ball. I'd send my Ulfs and Yeti up my right flank. My Yeti immediately, scored both downs.
Wonderful.
And so, it gives him half a nib. It gives him a chance to bring he's in. So I've got a bit of width. I've got my players spread out, but I've got a couple of players back, with the ball carrier. And it gives him an opportunity to bring his players through a gap on my right, his left, and sort of put a bit of pressure on the cage. And it's just a really interesting one because the result of that is that with a dodge on my leader Valkyrie that's got the ball, and then a dodge on my dodge Valkyrie that has dodge, who was sort of covering the ball, we run to our left flank. The Ulfs are sort of able to kind of move towards the middle, and all of a sudden, his team is just the wrong side of the ball with my players in between where they need to be and where he needs to get to.
Okay, so he's kind of forced his way through, kind of trying to put the pressure on, and then you've kind of reversed the field on him by going right.
And interestingly, I didn't really see it per se because you're playing your turn, and he just wrote good game. And then I looked at it and I was like, well, actually, he's in a real spot now. Because he just couldn't get back, and I was just able to trundle up the field, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, and so you're screening off, and he's kind of in the same way as sometimes dwarf players. One of the issues you get with dwarfs and chorfs is they kind of split their own team in half. Sometimes he's kind of done that a bit, hasn't it? He's kind of run through, putting the pressure on, and in a way that maybe Skaven or Wood Elves would have been really good at, because you just can't run away quickly. But actually, Norse can outpace Khorne a bit, can't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movement 6 on the field, I guess, but it's just where the pieces were. Like, I can't even say when I looked at it and what he did, and he came up with pressure. I thought, God, I've made a mistake here. And then just the way it fell, and it was like, oh, actually, this is going to work in my favour. So yeah, just
that's a nice turn up.
Yeah, it was nice. So now we're 2-1, right?
Very good.
And we're on to play lizards.
Okay, good.
But not just any lizards.
Okay.
Thomas W's lizards.
Oh wow. The Thomas W.
Yes,
not son of Pete W. Actual just Thomas W. Because he's no longer. Oh, that's Pete W's son. No, he's Thomas W.
Mate, he's won more tournaments than I have. He's a good player, and I think his lizards were 12 lizards. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't think there was a chameleon in there. I think there was 3 rerolls and an Apo.
Okay, that works. Yep.
If that's right, 1150, and I think there was 6 block or 5 block or whatever they were allowed to have.
Yeah.
And he's a good player. He went central. I hit some stuff. I think actually he probably got a bit tight to his line of scrimmage on turn 1, and I was able, I think, to base the ball on my turn 1.
Okay.
Threw everything at him, and he sort of had to escape down the left-hand side. And I played enough lizards myself. You base the Saurus, and there's no, it's difficult for them to then keep up with the skinks. And in the end, he had to run it in on turn 6.
Okay. Yep.
Or turn 7. But anyway, I had a short drive back, and I think I'd also taken out a Saurus by this point, possibly a couple of Saurus. So the short drive back ended up being, they're not elves. You've got to roll some dice and pray slightly, but it wasn't as problematic as it might have been. And in we went for 1 all at the half.
Okay.
And I can't remember if these things were cased or if he just didn't get some KOs back. Certainly felt like he was down a couple of players from the start of the second half. I think possibly 2 saw us down.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal.
For the start of the second half. And, Skinks then started to disappear. Saurus started to disappear. What I love about Thomas W, I played him twice now in these NAF tournaments, is that he is a very good player. He wins that Rising Star Award at NAFC, didn't he? A few weeks back.
Yep.
And but he is still a child. I think 13, 14. Probably won't love me saying he's a child, but he's still a child. And there are elements to his game that I think are highly effective, but also probably things that adults wouldn't do.
Okay.
And one of the things that he did when I played him last time that I remembered was that, and that was a 1-1 draw that game because I had a short drive in that one with Chorfs and it didn't work. On his defensive drive with his undead in that game, he just cage dived at me. Because eventually it's going to work. He's going to get in and he's going to hit on the ball. Eventually you're going to roll a 6. Yeah, if you do it 6 times, statistically you should roll a 6 at some point, right? And it did eventually work, and he did put the ball on the floor, And obviously with lizards, it's going to work more often, i.e. they're going to get in because the stunty and the skinks can just dodge in.
Yeah, exactly. And 2 dice uphill is not the end of the world.
Yeah, and quite early on, he recognised that, and he just started doing it. And I can't remember if it's the long drive or the short drive. At some point, he goes in and he rolls double pow.
Oh, yes.
And KOs the Valk, and I have to use my Apo to keep it on the field. Yeah?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, he does everything that he can. I end up winning 2-1, but you can't knock him. You can see why he beats people. I mean, it was never comfortable, really. Until I had all the Saurus on the floor and all the skinks were dead. Yeah, at that point, it became more comfortable. Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough.
So we've now had one game where we've got,
You've been blasted off the park. Then you've beaten someone with some mistakes. Then you've been gifted a little bit, and then you've beaten a good player. So you're 3-0.
Well, yeah, I feel. Yeah, I'm 3-0-1, and as I say, I feel like I've been blasted. I've been blasted off the park by the Alpha Union and the Khorne, but I've decimated the Renegades and the Lizards. Right?
Yeah, very good.
So now I run into a chap called Sebco, who's a French coach.
Okay.
And he's goblins.
Oh. So
he's obviously doing pretty well here because we're 3-0-1 in this tournament, and it's 170 odd coaches. So and obviously goblins, God, the options. So what is he? He's got 16 players, 2 trolls, a fanatic, a loony, a bomber, and an hooligan.
Oh my God.
He's got 3 bribes.
Okay.
The fanatic has got block and mighty blow.
Oh wow. Oh no.
The 2 trolls have both got block.
Oh no.
The bomber's got pass. Did I say he's got a bomber? He's got a bomber.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The hooligan's got sneaky gift.
Of course.
The chainsaw dude's got dodge.
Yep. Stay out standard. Yep.
And one of the goblins has got edge 2+.
Oh wow. Oh
and
wow.
2 rerolls. 2 rerolls.
Oh, that's nasty. Versus an AV7 team, or sorry, 8+ nowadays team.
Yeah.
That chainsaw and ball and chain can do some real work. And then if all else fails, you just lob a bomb here and there and watch the trolls splat everything as well.
Yeah, and mate, I mean, I went first. I decided to drive first. In part, there's 2 reasons for it. One, to try and control the bribe situation, and I'll talk about that when I get there. But 2, because I remember you telling me at some point that the goblin win percentage goes through the roof when they go first. Like
yes.
Really,
yeah.
So he put everything on the field, apart from the 2+, the Edge 2+ Goblin for my attacking drive.
Okay.
And you know what? It went all right. We got some momentum. His weapons didn't massively work. I think I knocked out the Fanatic, or the Fanatic knocked itself out at some point. We removed some goblins. We drove nicely down the field. Would have been easy enough to wait till turn 8, but I hadn't taken enough stuff off that I could guarantee that he would have to put some secret weapons back on the field, right? So he's got 3 secret weapons on the field and he's got 3 bribes. So they're all going to be available. And if I could have killed enough stuff that he would have had to put them on the field, or at least 1 of 2 of them, for his turn 8, then I perhaps would have stalled it all the way out.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, excuse me, but I couldn't guarantee it. So I had an idea, and I left him 3 turns.
Okay. In the hope that he would field the secret weapons and then get them sent off.
Absolutely, and he did. He put the bomber and the Fanatic back on the field.
Yep.
And the Ash 2 Goblin arrived, and he got 2 or 3 turns to score, and I've got 11 North, so I'm thinking we might be all right here. And then he stuns 3 or 4 players in 1 turn.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh, this is backfired.
Yeah. That what a great plan that was. Yeah.
I'm in trouble here. And in his turn 7, he has a situation where, in order to be in scoring range, his Edge 2+ Goblin needs to go for it.
Okay. Yep.
And if he need, and then he's 8 squares away from the end zone, right? And he fails to go for it. And if he's past it, there's pretty much nothing I can do. We are going in one. There's nothing I can do. It's just going to be on the other go for it, really. And I think he is really by this point. So but he fails it. Not only does he fail it, but he injures the Goblin.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. And so we managed to crowd around the ball, put some players in. We're still in a mite of trouble because the stuns are only just standing up. So and they're all by the line of scrimmage. So that he has some options, but I think I pushed in quite effectively, and he ends up failing a go for it with the Fanatic, I think.
Oh dear.
And so that's that. We're going in 1-0 up at half time, and we've got the Fanatic and the Bomber are both gone.
Wonderful. Well played. Exactly as planned.
Exactly as planned. Then he's made a couple of. He's a nice guy. He's made a couple of comments, I suppose, slightly tongue in cheek about the fact that his players are useless and that half the Norse team should be dead by now. And
yeah.
Well, his team woke up in the second half.
Okay.
And he's prepared to spend rerolls. Like at one point, he ran up to one of my Valkyries with a chainsaw. It got kicked back. He rolled the 1, so he re-rolls. He's only got 2 re-rolls. He re-rolled it and cast the Valk.
Oh, nasty. That's a decision, though, isn't it? That's a choice. That's something you make as a choice, especially because now in the new rules as well, isn't it? The chainsaw doesn't actually cause a turnover, does it? I don't think that it does, but it's still +3 on the armor roll, isn't it? Yeah, for sure. But it's not. You're not getting that. A choice. A choice was made there.
Yeah, and so he proceeds down the field, absolutely beating the living,
what's it out of you? Yes,
hell out of my team, and we are just evaporating. And we reach a point where he cages up on turn 6. On my left-hand side, probably halfway into my half of the field, because he's took his time, you know. I think he's happy to go for the draw at this point.
Okay.
And the best that I can do really is, I think I've got 5 players left at this point, and I stand my one remaining Valkyrie back by my own end zone.
Okay. As a little sweeper kind of thing.
In the middle of the field, just thinking, well, maybe I'll get a chance. And I put 2 linemen to base up his 2 trolls, and one of my elves is stuck on one of his goblins on the halfway line, so he bats him around a little bit without much joy. And then on turn 7, he moves to my right, and he sets up the cage. And he's missing a front cage corner on the inside corner, so he blitzes his troll free, injuring the lineman in the process, I believe. So that's another Kaz gone, and he runs the troll over and he parks it as the cage corner. So I'm looking at it, and it's not a standard X cage, because after throwing the blitz, obviously the troll only had 3 squares of movement left.
Okay.
So there's a 2. So effectively, he's got a
Venga bus without the other guy in the middle.
He's got a cage corner on the right, as I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Diagonally back from that is the the ball carrier, and then there is a 2 square gap.
Yep.
To the troll. And I look at it, and I've got 4 players left, and I'm like, right, all I have is it would be a 5+ dodge with my Valk.
Yep. Is this the dodge one?
Nope, dodge one got killed by chainsaw. This is the lead.
Yes, of course, yes. So this is the leader one.
The leader Valkyrie is going for a 5+ dodge for a 1 dice on the ball.
Okay, do you have a reroll?
I have a couple of rerolls.
Oh, very nice. Well, with multiple rerolls a turn, that's pretty good odds. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, so we make the dodge. We push. All we need is a push, because we have strip ball. Ball goes on the floor.
Yeah.
We managed to dodge our Ulf on a 4+. Away from a goblin. That burned a reroll, and get that round. And we just jam everything in as much as we can. And the Ulf's a real problem, because it's not stood next to anything, it's just stood next to the ball. So he needs, with his 2 trolls over the other side of the field, he needs like 2, 3, 4. He needs like 3 assists to get a 2 dice, does he, with the goblin?
Oh, dear me.
So he's got the hit on the Valk immediately, and then he has to throw a couple of dodges, or a dodge or something, to get enough goblins around. And he manages to move the Ulf, and now he's got a 3+ pickup, 3+ handoff, you know, or 2+ handoff to score, but he fails the pickup.
Oh.
He's out of rerolls, because the second reroll was the hit on the Valk. You know, he burned both his rerolls first 2 turns.
Yep.
You know, to get momentum. And so we win 1-0.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, whilst I've destroyed the Renegade and Lizardmen teams a little bit in damage, you know, another game here, Khorne, and then the Goblin game, where really I've just hung in.
Yeah, you've sunk your teeth in and just not refused to let go of it. No, very good. Very good.
And just managed to find and look, there's a huge slice of luck, and
well, yeah, but there's also the fact that, you know, you by sticking in it, you give yourself the opportunity for when the opponent makes an error to capitalise on it. And if they don't make an error, if he leaves that as a 6+, then maybe you don't make it. Or if he makes it a 5-5 or something, then maybe you don't make it. But the fact that you stayed in it is key to this.
I didn't even look at it so much as like, because at the time I didn't look at it and go, oh, that's necessarily an error, because like he moved the ball carrier in the other cage corners first, you know, and then the troll came over later.
Yeah. He put the player in scoring range first of all.
Yeah, and so I suppose you could say, well, maybe if he counted all the squares or everything, he'd have put the ball carrier one more square to the side and everything. But it's just what you do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's harder online than it is. Like on tabletop, you get the dice out and you put them on the table.
Yeah, you place them around.
You've got to hold all the positions in your head online a little bit. But so anyway, there's me 401 now.
Wow.
So then I roll into a French coach called Thorin.
Yes, I know Thorin, yes.
And his Necro.
Okay.
And a 13-player build, 3 rerolls. Only the 1 wolf.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, how's he managed that? What's he sacrificed? The wolf? Okay, fair enough.
I think by memory there's... And look, I've got it open on the computer here, but the skills have dropped off now. So the wolf had definitely a block. I think there was guard on the wraiths and the golems.
Yep.
And then maybe like a block or a wrestle or something on a ghoul. That makes sense.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
In all fairness, in this one, I'm 401. I think he's 401. I just threw my team at him, to be honest, and thought I'd see what would happen. Tried to just sort of outstrengthen it. He played it really well. My Ulf and my Yeti ended up getting stuck on a couple of goblins on halfway while his team was all developed in my backfield. And his golems were, next to the ball carrier. And really, there was a couple of moments where if he'd rolled pushes, he probably would have had to score early.
Okay, yep.
But, he didn't, so we didn't, and he scored an 8. He backfielded the one-turn defence, and I had quite a good go at it, actually, trying to get the one-turner with all the frenzy and everything.
Oh, very good.
And I just didn't fill in one space, I think. Or I failed a dodge or a go for it. The go is problematic, obviously, with the lineman because it's 3+.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't bad, and I had the handoff. I had a touchback. So maybe need some more time in the lab looking at that one turner. To be fair, I did it on the fly. I haven't really looked at it at all. Obviously, I'd have been needing 4 and 5+ dodges and go for it and stuff, and I didn't have any rerolls left by the time I found all the pushes, so probably still wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, but if you can get it to the point where it is just the dice rolls, then as long as you choose the most optimal route, it's literally in the hands of whoever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did the hard bit.
And then on offense, we pushed forward a bit. Again, fairly spread across the field. Attacking down the left, I think I failed something. It gave him a chance to come and pressure the ball. And again, I've got this kind of cage. Like a loose cage, a couple of players in front of the ball carrier. I don't know, 5 or 6 squares back from the line of scrimmage. Kind of towards the one sideline. And he's able to push through, put some pressure on it. And then we are... we're able to get away. And it's a little bit like the corn game again.
Okay, where you've kind of split the team and reversed the field a bit?
Yeah, well, we kind of move forward, and then we get a slightly fortunate situation where, because these 2 wraiths are pushed through, and they're now in my half of the field, stuck on one Ulf, and one of his ghouls is stuck on he's getting punched backwards by my berserker, away from the action, as it were, and then one of his wraiths KOs itself, trying to 1-dice block my Ulf.
Oh, God.
And then my Ulf KOs the other wraith.
Ooh, the necro spiral that I know all too well.
And this ghoul is getting pushed further and further away from the action. Yeah. He's now starting to scramble for fast pieces. So I pushed on my left, and then I just come back central, and then I go on right, and he can get across a bit. But I clear the way, and I could score. I mean, I've got a score or stall choice on turn 7. So I can either, and it'll be a really weird store, but I can stick my Dodge Valk effectively next to the sideline and next to the end zone in that square, right? And I can stand my leader Valk in front of it and hand the ball off, and then the best you can get is a 2 dice uphill on my Dodge Valkyrie.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, which is cool. Or I can just run it in with a go for it. The ball's on my leader Valkyrie. I'm carrying on the leader Valkyrie. I am undecided, so I put my Dodge Valkyrie in the space where he would need to stand to be handed off to. Sorry, she would need to stand. And then I go to make the 3+ dodge that I need with my leader Valkyrie. Bearing in mind I've got rerolls in the bank. I've got 2 or 3 rerolls at this point. And I won in on the dodge.
Oh no.
And that's a 1-0 loss.
Oof.
But you know what? It's mental. It's a mental tournament. The amount of the games where I was down and out and somehow didn't lose, or in fact won, and the games where we just destroyed people. Norse bag of fun, I tell you.
Very good.
Yeah, so interesting. But anyway, I don't think Thorin is a member of NAF, so that loss didn't go on my NAF record. And usually, I'm a few wins missing off my NAF record, where people have not been. Not
been NAF registered.
Never had a loss. I've never had a loss missed off. So
wow,
starts to even itself up.
Boy, who's a lucky boy?
Yeah, and I'm now officially Wales's best online Norse coach.
Congratulations.
I mean, it's just what I always wanted, to be honest.
Oh, well, yes.
I'd like to thank everybody.
Well, you just did.
So there you go. That's
wow. What a great tournament. It sounds like a good one. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got some good stuff out of it.
Sorry. We should just say, like Norse. Obviously, I didn't take the roster was a Yeti, a couple of Wolves, a Berserker, 2 Valkyries, and then some line people.
Yeah, you didn't go for any pigs this time, did you? You were trying to get pigs first.
Didn't take the pigs. I finished second highest Norse to a chap who's on Team France, I think, called Nicodas, who went 3-3-0. So just beat my 402. He did have pigs. There are a lot of other Norse rosters. I think I was finished in the top 30. Norse, I mean, I've played them once before in TSD on Blood Bowl 2. Where I got
we played that.
Finals. You beat me, didn't you?
I beat you in the quarterfinals, yeah.
Yeah. And that tournament was like a box of frogs as well. So it's either me or it's the Norse. I don't.
Yeah, it's one of the two. Yeah.
I don't know which it is, but
the jury is undecided.
Yeah, but what I will say is I think if you've played Norse under the old rule set, you shouldn't be looking at the new rule set and thinking that it's going to be, that you won't enjoy them. I think, you've lost the ability to take a blodge ball carrier in every game, but the Valks, the strip ball's interesting. You've still got the movement 7. The passing catch didn't really work out for me. I didn't need it, I don't think, at any point. Or when I did try and use it, I just threw it wildly inaccurate. But I think I can definitely see a utility for that. The drunkard rule, or whichever part of it is, definitely kept me in some games, kept some players on the field for me. I never really, I can't say I lost a game because of the GFI thing, needing 3+s. That just wasn't really an issue at any point. And the rest of it, the Yeti, the Elves, the Berserker, they're all the same as they were. So, if there's anyone out there thinking, new Norse, no beer pigs, I'm not sure, just give it a go, because actually I think they're a good team and a good roster, and I shall certainly be revisiting them in the future.
Very good. Sounds positive. And that's what we like.
Yeah. Talk to me then, dude. You went to an actual tabletop tournament, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So while you've been pootling away with that. Yeah, I went to another tabletop tournament. I went to Pitch Invasion June. Now, this is run by No Number, who is a fan of the podcast, and
Hello, No Number.
We are he's been running the tabletop tournament, and he announced at the end of this one that he's actually, as of I think it was September, going to be running monthly Blood Bowl tournaments at his shop. He's going to run 11 one-dayers, and then the big flagship will be the Red Trophy in August, which will be the two-dayer. So,
Wow.
So that's going to be really good. So if you guys haven't considered trying out the High Wycombe tournament, check out those. There, links are all on Talk Fantasy Football, and yeah, it's looking like it's going to be one a month, which will just be amazing. Because imagine those months when there's no tournaments around. If you're if you're about an hour or plus away from it, get there, drive there. There's a car park that's round the corner. It's about £4 for a full day's worth of parking. It's a bargain.
Wow.
And four games of Blood Bowl. So I took with me in the car my friends Falling Down Joe and Rusty, who came with me. Joe took Dark Elves. Rusty took Snotlings with Morg. And I took Amazons. I revisited my Amazons. Now, it was 8 skills. You could stack as many times as you want. There's eight primaries, or you can do 2 secondaries, 5 primaries, and again you can stack however you want. It's a very straightforward rule set. Very, very nice. Star for stunties, and that's it. So I took 4 guard Amazon blitzers. I took 2 wrestle linewomen, and I took a catcher with dirty player sneaky git. 3 rerolls, Apo, and 14 players. So you know me, Fear. I like a 14 player Amazon roster. I always have done. Back in the old rules, it was either Roxy or 14 players for me. I know you preferred a Carla build. But yeah, So I was really excited about it, and I was pleased to be sitting down and playing some Amazons again.
Wow.
And that build is geared up for one thing, and if you don't know what it is, you probably need to think, because 4 guard now assists in fouls, 2 wrestle puts you on the floor, and a dirty player sneaky git steps on your head. And 14 players means I don't really care if I get sent off.
Yeah, I mean, you suppose you can keep fouling.
Yeah.
The dirty players need to presumably get sent off eventually, and then you.
Yeah. So let's talk through the game. So first up, game 1, I was against a guy called Ben Alibi, in his first ever tabletop tournament. I recognise the name though.
Oh, right, okay.
Does he play online?
He does play on Fumble.
There we go then.
And he does play in Tabletop League. And I thought, during the whole game, I actually thought he played really well. If he hadn't told me it was his first tabletop tournament, I wouldn't have known. He was that solid, and I think on a different day he probably could have won Stunty Cup.
Oh.
So he was very good. So his goblin, he brought goblins. He'd brought 2 trolls.
Yep.
One had block guard, one had brawler guard, I think it was. And he had a block pogoer.
Nice.
He had a dodge chainsaw. That's 6 skills.
They seem really popular, dodge chainsaws.
Yeah. What else did he have? The other skills escaped me. Anyway, he had another skill because he'd taken the double. He had another skill for the double because he'd taken the 2 secondaries package.
Did he have a ball and chain?
Yes, he had a fanatic, and he'd also brought Creek. So and 2 bribes, 2 rerolls, and Creek.
Of course, Creek comes with his own auto.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and the last time I played Creek, I also had Amazons, and I got absolutely annihilated. Back in 2019, I think it was, when Creek just came out in the old rules.
Does he come with Mighty Blow, Creek?
I think so. Prehensile
Oh.
tail, as he's got prehensile tail. He's
Oh,
horrible.
God, yeah.
He's horrible, right? Anyway, he's horrible, right? So I win the toss, and as we've touched on earlier, I decided to receive because Goblin's win rate goes through the roof when when they receive. And I set up opposite these players. He's put opposite, he's put the both balls and chains on the LOS, and I'm like, oh my God, like what am I meant to do versus this? Always put no. I'm sorry. He's put both trolls and Creek on the LOS, and the other ball and chains lurking in the back, and I'm just like, oh my God, like how am I meant to knock these things over? So I make a tactical decision immediately that I'm going to foul the brawler troll on turn 1. That's my play, right? My turn ordering is going to be cover the ball, knock the brawler troll over, foul it to death, then uphill Creek. Okay, that's my turn ordering.
Well, 'cause this is your thing, isn't it? Because if you knock him over, it's auto KO'd.
Yeah. Well,
Right,
it's auto off the pitch, and then he may come back with the whatchamacallit, with his bribe, his free bribe, effectively. He may come back if he makes it, but but he's off the pitch.
You're beating the armor, and the best and the worst it can be is a KO.
Yeah,
but you can't.
Exactly. So it's good. So the kick lands on the exact opposite side to where 90% of my team are, because I'm setting up for this big foul on the troll, right?
Yeah.
And here's where I make my first error. Please note, first error.
Oh God.
I cover the ball, I go for the foul, I stun the troll, I pick the ball up, but I've not really set myself in the best shape. I probably shouldn't have committed so many players to that foul. And then I go for the uphill on Creek, and I just push him out of the way. Absolutely fine. There we go. Lovely. However, the next turn, the goblins start flooding through, and he starts jamming players in, going, right, well, okay, that troll's stunned, but now you've got to deal with the rest of my team. And I'm looking at this already going, oh, this isn't so good. And the other thing is, as well, is ball and chains in the new rule can stop whenever they want. Right, in the new rules, right? So you're no longer, Creek's movement 5, there's 5 movement with a ball and chain. It's, Creek's done 2 movement and is in a great spot. Yep, there we go. I'll leave him there.
Yep.
So I find myself in a bit of a sticky situation, and before you know it, Creek is on the ball carrier.
No.
And I 1 in 9 the dodge. And the ball's on the floor. And I sack the ball back, and then Creek sacks me back again. And then he scores.
Oh.
And I'm 1-0 down on my own drive, through my own fault entirely, because I went, game plan, let's foul this troll, right? I've lost a couple of players as well, but I'm able to reload off the bench. He uses the Creek bribe, he argues the call successfully on the chainsaw, I think. So I'm just sat there like, oh no. And everything's back, basically. Everything's back. And he decides to bench the second. He decides to bench the ball and chain, but leave Creek on.
Right. Okay.
And then we set up again, and I'm receiving again, and I think to myself, right, Hellboy, you've got to get a score in here, right? You just got to get a score in here. So I grind down the pitch, and I do successfully get a score in. I managed to chip the chainsaw along the way with a cheeky reroll. I managed to roll the both down, and the chainsaw promptly kills himself. So that was nice. And yeah, we get ourselves trundled down the field, and it's a nice turn 8 score. He does go for an uphill play. He starts being a bit more goblin-esque, shall we say.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, good stuff. 1-1. Then Creek gets sent off. He bribes the... No, he doesn't bribe the... He doesn't. He's used both bribes. Creek gets sent off, and the chainsaw's dead. But he's got the other ball and chain. But I've managed to do enough damage that ball and chain has to be on the field. So I'm feeling quite good, because it means the second half, after his turn 8, the second half, he'll have no secret weapons as long as he doesn't successfully argue the call. Okay. He sets up for the throw teammate. The ball lands in a great spot. He picks it up, hands it off, moves the troll forward, and throws the goblin. Rolls a 6 on the throw. So it's a superb throw, whatever you call it. So it gets the plus to the landing. It lands, and then it runs through and scores. So at the end of my drive, I'm 2-1 down versus goblins. Fortunately, he now has no secret weapons.
Yeah.
I've also I should have mentioned, at the very beginning of the game, we rolled sweltering heat.
No.
So at this point, I think we're setting up 8v9 in my favour. Something like this. Okay? 2-1 down. Now, all he's got is the pogoer and 2 trolls, and the rest are just ordinary goblins. Okay? That's all he's got now, right? He's lost all firepower. He's lost all of this stuff. And I think I've lost one wrestle line woman and the sneaky get catchers off, but I've got 3 blitzers. So I've been quite lucky on what's stayed on the pitch. So I've got a wrestler and I've got 3 blitzers. And basically, I know that I've got to make a play at some point. And if I get an early play, then I can try and win this game. And if it's not an early play, then I'm going to draw the game. So turn 1, he picks the ball up. That's fine. So turn 1, I set up to get ready for the next turn, whatever he does. Next turn, he sets up in a cage. I blitz the cage and I base the ball. And then on his turn 3, he moves everything, gets all ready, blah blah blah, and 1 in 9's the dodge with the ball carrier.
Oh.
Because he can't clear everything off because I've jammed extra stuff in, and I've made it hard for him.
But that's the play, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know what I've got to do, right? Yeah. And the scatter is very favourable. Meaning that the next turn I'm able to pick the ball up and run away, and I'm able to score very quickly, having been prepared for this, and decide that yes, I am trying to push for the win. So, I think I've got maybe 3. I've got 4 turns to score back. I managed to score in 4, because of the way I've positioned. I've put someone on the LOS and done the GFIs on that turn 3, and then handed off and got away and scored. And we set up, and this very humorously occurs. We set up 7 versus 7 for this final drive. At 2-all, 7 versus 7 because of sweltering heat. Again, I've this time I've lost a blitzer, I think. But I've got back my catch. I've got back a wrestler, so And again, I look at this and I go, well, it's the same game plan again, right? I've just got to try it. And I swarm in, blah blah. I'm knocking stuff over. He's knocking stuff over. I lose someone. He loses someone. And then we get to the situation again where the ball carrier is based, and he 1 in 9's the dodge.
No.
So his blodge ball carrier has done 2 things all game, which is pick up the ball, yes, dodge away, no. And unfortunately for him, the scatter goes favourably again. I do I look at the turn ordering and go, right, I put that one there, so I've got a scoring threat, but then I'm actually going to hand off to that one and run away. I do the handoff, I run away, it's on a blodger. I'm able to make it so it's uphill for him. He can't get the uphill. It's 2 GFIs for me to score and win the game 3-2. And I make the 2 GFIs and win the game 3-2.
Mate. Rerolls for the GFIs?
No. Oh, sorry, yes, I had a reroll. I had one reroll, but I didn't need it.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wow. I mean, you were dead for your own errors.
Yeah.
At one down, and then you were dead because sometimes the throw teammate does work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And circumstance a little bit with.
But this is
But,
why,
you've kept in the game, right? You've kept in the game.
Exactly, and this is why I wanted to touch back just briefly on what we spoke about with that semi-final that I was in. Was even at 2-1 down, I looked at it and went, well, you've got no weapons, you've got no secret weapons. If I can just get dice on the ball at some point, or as it transpired, you could just fail the dodge. But it was a great game. I mean, at the end of the game, he was a lovely guy. He will go far. I'm really hope he gets to more tabletop tournaments. I think he enjoyed himself a lot, and absolute credit to him. You mean, as he said to me on turn 7, all 3 results were on the table on turn 7. He could win the game, I could win the game, or we could just draw it. And that is a fantastic game to be in. Goblins versus Amazons, and the match can go either way. But yeah, so that was a nice start to the day. That was a nice tough game.
Good start.
Yeah, really really good opponent. Good fun. Had a really nice time, and yeah, felt fun to play a game like that and come through it. As well. Yeah, so that was game 1. Then game 2, I played a guy called Dankin. With his Lizardman. Now, I played Dankin before. Last time I played Dankin was at a previous pitch invasion before we were doing the podcast. I took vampires and he took undead. He'd never played versus vampires before at all in any format.
Oh dear.
And I beat him 3-0. So after saying on turn 1, okay, now your player's got no tackle zones and no skills, so I'll pick that ball up. Thank you very much. And oh, okay, that sideline cage. Now that doesn't exist, and now I've surfed your ball carrier.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was. But he's a lovely guy, and yeah, good coach. So I was not unaware of what I was kind of letting myself in for versus him. So I was prepared mentally for a tough game. And Lizards versus Amazons is also an interesting matchup. He'd gone 4 Blocksaurus. 2 Guardsaurus and a skink with sprint sure feet, which I wasn't convinced about. I don't think it added that much value to the team. And he'd also made a really interesting choice in terms of what he'd taken. So Croxagore Sixsaurus, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
4 skinks, 4 ordinary skinks.
Right.
Then another 2 ordinary skinks. So that's 6 ordinary skinks, 2 rerolls, no Apo.
Interesting.
So
is that a 13-player roster?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
2 rerolls, no Apo. And when I heard no Apo, as a fouling Amazon team versus Lizards, I was thinking to myself, well, those 2 Guardsaurus are getting fouled as fast as I can. And I'm going to make your life a living hell for not having brought an Apo.
Yeah.
So, he wins the toss and opts to receive, which I thought was interesting. So I thought to myself, well, that's fine. So I set up. And turn 1, he didn't knock any of my players over. So I was very happy at that. And turn 1, I set up and fouled off the pitch with a KO one of his Guardsaurus.
Yeah.
There we go, lovely. So I'm sat there thinking to myself, well, this game's going to be pretty straightforward. Let's pick off the next Saurus. Now tell me, Fear, you've played a lot of Amazons and you played a lot of Lizards.
Yeah.
Do you think it's useful having 4 guard blitzers in that matchup?
Yes.
Yeah? Would you say that as Amazons, you really want 4 guard blitzers in that matchup?
I think as a team of entirely strength 3 against a team that's predominantly more than strength 3, I would say I have found lots of guard, to be very useful in trying to fight against lizards
Yes.
with Amazon.
Okay. Good. So turn 1, I removed a Saurus. By the end of turn 4, his turn 4, this is. We'd gone through the roller coaster of me looking like I was going to force him to score on turn 3 or 4, to me having 3 dead Amazon blitzers.
Ooh.
Actually, the first one rolls a serious injury, and I think about it and I go, I'm not going to Apo that. I'm going to save the Apo. The second one gets seriously injured, and I go, I'm Apoing that, and it's serious injury, and so the Apo's gone. And then on turn 4, the next one goes, and it's a serious injury. So I've lost three blodgers, and he has no tackle, he has no wrestle, he's not fouling, he's just straight up rolling pows, and one of them was a failed dodge away from prehensile tail that then killed me.
Mate, that's rough.
Yeah, and the other thing I should add as well is in this game is that it's pouring rain, and he makes the pickup without a reroll on turn 1, or it was a touchback. Maybe it was a touchback. Anyway, he's got the ball without a reroll. Anyway, so it's pouring rain, and as I say, I've kind of gone from, if you'd said to me on turn 2, what do you think the next 2 turns are going to look like? I'd say he's scoring on turn 4, and I'm getting 5 turns back. As it turns out, when you remove 3 players like that and then chip another 2 into the KO box, you've got nothing. So yeah, I had nothing, unfortunately, and he was able to successfully stall out till turn 6. When I start doing the old, well, stuff this, I'm going to try and cage dive you.
Hey, you've got all Thomas W on.
I've gone Thomas W. So turn 5, I tried it. And I got so far. Turn 6, I tried it, and I sacked the ball. I mean, and we're talking 4-4-5. You know.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at this going, I'm toast in this half. I'm toast in the game, right? Like, I can't see a way how I'm winning the game, right? I've got to do something here. And I managed to sack him, and the ball scatters into the end zone. In the pouring rain. You know. And so he's looking at it on his turn 7. He's looking at this going, right, what am I going to do here? I don't think I can stall it. I'm just going to try for the pickup. And again, he just picks the ball up in the rain with no reroll required and scores. So as the song goes, touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. So,
like, that's a song for the YouTube channel there, mate.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? Yeah. I'll work on that one here. So he scores, giving me 2 turns back. But I'd kind of thrown the kitchen sink at him, and it just hadn't worked. But as we say, I'm not. Was I happy with my decision making in the game at those early turns? Yes, I thought I went in with the game plan, fouling the Saurus. It worked. You have to leave guard players based sometimes because that's what their jobs are. But guard blodgers, they should be staying on their feet more often than not. And to lose 3, it felt a little bit rough.
Yeah, I mean, look, Zongs become difficult to play when
Yeah, so I've got a 14-player roster, but when you're reloading off the bench 3 line women to replace 3 blodge blitzers with guard.
Oh no, I mean, I think like as we say, that the builds that I used to favour would have 4 guard, 5 if I could have a double, and Carla, and
yep.
If I lost a couple of blitzers, then I've still got 3 guard and a strength 4 player running around with Dauntless. I think the builds that I've played that don't have that strength piece, when you're limited to the 4 guard on the blitzers, they're just hugely important pieces, and you can play against majority of teams losing 1.
Oh yeah.
Using 3 is just cataclysmic.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I've got a 2-turn, and I've brought the thrower, the Amazon thrower, for this purpose, for the 2-turn chance. Right? I normally didn't take the thrower, but I think just because of the pass, you need that reliability of the pass. I've got 2 catches as well on the team, so 2 catches and a thrower. We'll cut the long story short. It doesn't work. The lizards are just strong, so I go in and I'm looking. Yeah, they're fast, they're strong, and it doesn't work. And the rain, I can't pick the ball up. So yes, that's a problem there. So second half starts, and I'm thinking to myself, right, this is now draw or loss basically, because I just can't risk the win, because I've got nothing to fire back with. So I've got to be playing for the draw. So I start off with, I do what I'm doing, go to pick the ball up, don't pick the ball up, don't re-roll it. Lizards come charging in, I go to pick the ball up, can't pick the ball up, re-roll it, get the ball. Right, okay, ball in hand now. But then something else goes wrong a bit later in the turn, and I have to eat it. And I'm just sat there looking at this. And then the lizards swarm in. Like I've never had pressure on me like this. Bear in mind as well, all his Saurus have come back. He's got no Apo. I've chipped nothing. And it's just there. And it's one of those ones where you're like, oh, you're just like, you're not annoyed. You're not tilting, but it's just, you're looking at it going, oh, there's nothing in your Cas box and mine's overflowing now. Oh, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
One of these ones. And I'm looking at this going, right, I'm going to have to make some crazy pass play here. And he's left this line woman untagged. And I'm looking at this going, right, well, my thrower's tagged there, but it's 2/3+ dodges there. And it's a 1D blitz there. And if I do that, then I've got another 2 dodges. And then I can pass the ball on a 4. It's a 3 if I do 2 GFIs. And if I catch it on a 4 in the rain, then he can't hit me. And I look at it and I go, right, blitz here, 1D, boom. Right, dodge here, dodge, pass action, dodge, pass. Yep, run away, boom, like that. Right, and I run away, and I make it. And he looks at it and he goes, that was a lot of dice. And I was like, yeah, I know, but what else did I have? I've got nothing else to do. This is what you've left me. And he's like, yeah, fair play, mate. So then he comes in and tries to set up the sack for the next turn. I run away again. Then he goes for the sack, manages to sack me. I'm potatoing down the field like a madman here. And then the ball scatters into a good square for me. I go to pick the ball up, fail to pick the ball up, pump the re-roll in, fail to pick the ball up. So ball scattered. And now he looks at it and goes, okay. He clears one tackle zone off the ball. It's in 2 tackle zones. Clears 1 tackle zone off the ball and goes, all right, stuff this, and picks it up on a 5, and then dodges through does the 3 dodges through, and all of a sudden I'm facing I need a sack on that turn, and I go for it, and I just can't knock the ball over, and then he makes the handoff and gets the 2-0.
Wow.
And it was just one of those games, it's like, at the end of the game, he said, look, I just didn't, he just didn't really fail anything. And I said, look, removals are one thing, the rain, the rain didn't exist for him, and the rain really existed for me. I think I failed 7 pickups in the rain. I think it ended up
but I mean, these guys are like crocodiles, aren't they?
Yeah.
The rain's not going to be a problem.
No, you're true. Exactly. I should have thought the fluff. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was fairly obvious. No, I mean, look, it's a funny matchup anyway.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, right, I still had a chance to draw that game, even being down 3 blitzers. So, I feel it was all right, and I enjoyed the game. I may not have felt like it was the most enjoyable game of Blood Bowl I've ever played, but I was still getting enjoyment from it, and I found some interesting solutions to some puzzles that were there.
2 huge roller coaster games so far.
Yeah, 2 big roller coaster games. Yeah. So my next match is against a guy called Boat Pig, who's also doing his first tabletop tournament. Wonderful, another lovely guy. And he's brought lizards again.
Just to check. Did you say Boat Pig?
Yeah, Boat Pig. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Boat Pig.
Boat Pig
has brought lizards. Different build to the other one. He's got a Shorehand Skink, for example. He's got a Block Croxagore. He's done some stacking. He's got a Block Mighty Blow. You know, he's got a Frenzy Saurus. You know, he's got a bit more fun skills, shall we say? You know, there's a bit of variety in there.
Yeah.
I think I win the toss and opt to kick to him. And he's also got an Apo. You know, he's gone a bit more traditional. Apo, 3 rerolls. And I kick to him, and the game starts, and I immediately lose a guard blitzer. And I'm sat there, and I'm just going, and I look over at No Number, and I said to No Number, I said, he was sat next to me, I said, lizards are a great team. I said, I wish I was playing them today. But anyway, the game trundles along, and we kind of like trading stuff, and I'm going for the fouls again, and like, I mean, he took one look at me doing the foul and went, oh God, I see what your game plan is.
Yeah.
You know, I rolled stuns on all the fouls in this one, but he could see the danger. You know, the sneaky player, sneaky git, dirty player. Whoa, if that fired, or you know, I could have been removing Saurus left, right, and centre. Anyway, the game progresses, and about on turn 5, he ends up basing with his cage onto one of my players. And I look at this and I go, okay, that's a 1D, and even on a push, I've got a 2D on the ball there, and I sack the ball, and I pick the ball up, and I run away. And I bang it in on turn 7, I think, of his drive.
Nice.
So I go 1-0, and no, sorry, I bang it in on turn 6, giving him 2 turns back, because he then very nearly scores back on me in the 2 turn, and tripwires the GFI into the end zone. To go 1-1, which was heartbreaking. And I can't make it 2-0. I had someone in range to make it 2-0, but I don't get the pickup. So it's only 1-0 to me. But it's been a fun half. But there's in a nice way to Boat Pig. You know, Dankin is obviously a more experienced coach. Boat Pig at his first tournament, and the 2 lizard games felt very different, right?
Okay.
Apart from the fact that I've also been battered off the pitch. So when I set up for my drive, it's 11 lizards versus 9 Amazons.
That's 5.
Yes. I've got a 14-player roster, right? Okay. It's 11 versus 9, that then becomes 11 versus 8, 11 versus 7, 11 versus 6.
Wow.
And I am just burning turns, right? The ball is in my own half because I can't get through. And I've got like one player running forwards to try and pull his players away, being like, I will make a pass play to that player if you don't tag them, you know, kind of thing. And then the others are kind of running around, and he's pushing in on me, and I'm dodging one side of the pitch and the other side of the pitch, and I'm making screens of 3 players that then become screens of 2 players as one of them gets from, you know, it's like, it's a manic game, right? You know, and I'm just looking at the turn timer going, why is it only turn 4? You know, and it's, you know,
I hate those games.
I've been playing this game for 17 turns by now. This surely we're in overtime already, you know, this kind of thing, and it's like, you know. Anyway, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm trying this, trying that, and basically, I think it's 11 versus 6 when I decide that I'm going to make my move on turn 7, and take on board what I should have done at the NAF Championships, if you remember. Game 1 of the NAF Championships, where I should have been looking to just run forward and wait. Don't have to score because you're 1-0 up. You can run forward and wait. You don't actually have to score. So my plan was a pass play in my own half into a handoff into a runaway, basically. Into then,
right.
Even if he sacks me, he won't be able to score necessarily. Yeah, or it will be very hard, right? And on turn 7 of the second half, I won in 9 my dodge with the ball carrier. I can't complain, right? The same thing happened with the Goblin coach, right?
Yeah.
And the Lizards just go, run forward, pick the ball up, score. 1-1. We get no timeout, so the game ends a draw. But hey, I had 11 versus 6 by the end.
Mate.
And again, I've come away from a draw from a game where I was pretty battered. And I had a great time. It was a really good, really fun game. I was enjoying playing Amazons again.
A hard matchup. It sounds like your main plan for dealing with the Lizards hasn't really come off in either game.
No, and so if we think about my build as well, right? That dirty player sneaky git was meant to be doing my damage, right? Versus the Goblins, we were playing in sweltering heat. I couldn't risk losing players, so I couldn't even risk the foul. And also, you're never just fouling. I went to foul the troll really early in the Goblin game because it was super early, right? But I'm not going to foul an ordinary Goblin.
Yeah.
And then in the Lizard games, I'm only rolling KOs or stuns. I'm not getting sent off. I'm not getting sent off. I think the catchers I don't think I get sent off in any of the games. In the 3 games.
It's also hard to foul. It's also hard to foul when you're down to 6 players.
Exactly. If you don't have any assists, you can't throw the fouls in. So it's it was So I do feel maybe I had the rough end of it. Maybe in the future I would not go that sneaky git build. I might just take a block on a catcher or something, just to have a bit of security in that sense. But yeah, it was some interesting games there, which leads then into game 4. So I'm 1-1-1 at this point, and I come into game 4 versus Green Skin Phil.
Nice.
What race do you think Green Skin Phil is playing?
I'm going to say halflings.
Halflings. With a name like Green Skin Phil, you would be correct in assuming that he was playing orcs.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
Well,
I feel the clue was in the name, and I was hoping that he wasn't playing orcs.
Yeah, it was literally right there. He likes goblins and orcs. His orc build was really interesting though. As we've discussed many times, I still haven't seen the orc build that gets me excited. Hang
on. Orcs won NAFC.
Yeah.
Still not excited.
They were good. They were good. I'm not sure yet. I need to play those. We'll see. This orc build didn't get me excited. It was different. It was different, but it didn't get me excited.
No.
He'd gone two guard Black Orcs.
Yeah.
I've got to count the skills. 2 guard Black Orcs.
Oh.
2 guard Black Orcs. 2 tackle blitzers.
Oh.
Okay. Which obviously versus Amazons may have some synergy for him, but I did comment to him after the game that I thought that 2 was a bit of an overkill, and he did see the point. I said maybe a mighty blow, maybe a guard. He was like, oh yeah, I see that. So that was that. He'd taken the doubles route, the secondaries route, and put a dodge on a blitzer. Okay.
I don't hate that.
Okay. The other blitzer had nothing. The other 2 Black Orcs had nothing. He has no troll. He has no goblins. He has line orcs. And he brings a Mr. Thrower, with block and dodge.
Ooh, slick.
So he's got 2 blodgers, 2 tacklers, and 2 guard Black Orcs. So, interesting build.
Very interesting. On the blodge point, when I played Orcs in League play a couple of times, I've been fortunate enough to end up with, under the last sort of rule set where you had to roll for your doubles, I've been fortunate enough a couple of times to end up with blodge blitzers on my Orc teams.
Yeah.
They are almost always just unstoppable because it's the thing the team's missing. Weirdly, is what I always found. Is actually just a piece that can dodge. Interesting that he's got 2.
Yeah, so he's got 2. Yeah, he's got 2 blodgers. Yeah. So the game starts, and it starts kind of badly, with a blitz. For him, I'm receiving.
Right.
And he swarms around the ball, and I go for the pickup, and I get the pickup, but then he sacks me immediately, because obviously he's got tackle, and he picks the ball up, and I sack him back, and I pick the ball up, and then he really overcommits. But like obviously he's pumping rerolls in, right? Because he can see he's got an opportunity here. And so he's pumping some of his rerolls in here. And he manages to overcommit, and I manage to get away. So we were all over on the left-hand side. Kit goes left. We're all on the left-hand side, and I managed to get away to the right. And then comes a turn where he has to make a decision about using his 3rd and final reroll on a block that's gone wrong. And he decides not to, and very begrudgingly he goes, I can't do that. And that just gives me the opening to really run away and get down the pitch and score on turn 8.
Hey.
It's gone okay. It's gone okay. The one thing I will mention is on my turn 1, I went for a foul on his guard Black Orc that I'd knocked over, and I rolled a double 4 on the armor, which is absolutely fine.
Because sneaky get, yeah.
Because sneaky get. And then I rolled a double 4 on the injury, and didn't successfully argue the call and got sent off. So I KO'd a Black Orc, but or maybe it was a blitzer. Maybe it was a rookie blitzer. Maybe it was no skill blitzer. Anyway, I get rid of 1, but it's an immediate trade, and I'm gone. So that was a shame. That was a shame because I thought I had good value there. Anyway, I score on turn 8, and that's all fine. And then he takes his hits, doesn't get anything. And we're both 11v11 for the second half, and I kick the ball, and the ball goes really deep, like really deep. 1 square off the end zone, kind of deep. And I roll a blitz.
There we go.
Back, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to split your team in half, and good luck. And I think I get to move 5 players or something luxury like that. So I don't commit too hard because I'm also aware that this can go wrong. Amazons are not wood elves. They're not Skaven. A blitz isn't the auto kind of touchdown that you get with some of those teams, or can get with some of those teams. So I do put some pressure on. And as we comment, it's only fair. We've both had a blitz, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Then turn 1, he blocks a bunch of players. He runs his blodge blitzer into scoring range.
What?
Okay, right.
Okay.
And then picks the ball up on his thrower. In his own end zone, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
And then he goes, right, your turn. I say, yeah, fine. So I take my turn 1 now, and I do this and that, and I block some players. I do this. I'm whatever, right? And then he looks at me. I say, all right, your turn. And I haven't done anything basing this blodge blitzer, right? It's just there, right? I'm aware of it, but it's just there, right? And he goes, well, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna change the way I play. And he goes, right, I'll do this block here. Does a block. I'll do another block there. Okay, block. He goes, okay, I'm gonna try and score. And I was like, okay. And he goes, pass action. And he passes with the thrower to one blitzer, hands off to the blodge blitzer, and does the GFIs and two turns me basically from end zone to end zone with orcs.
Coast to coast with orcs.
Yeah. Basically.
It's not even like the thrower's got accurate. It's a blodge thrower. That's amazing.
Yep.
That's brilliant. Yep. I love it. I absolutely love it. Sorry,
exactly.
bud.
I know. And I said, well, I mean, well done. Like, I wasn't expecting it. Like, I genuinely wasn't expecting it. And he goes, yeah, yeah, I want to have some fun. And I was like, that's absolutely fine by me. He gave me 7 turns back.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And then over those 7 turns, I slowly grind my way down the pitch. And eventually something goes wrong. I can't remember what it was exactly, but something went wrong for him. There was one turn where it just went, oh no. Maybe a 1 in 9. Maybe I chip something as well, and then he goes 1 in 9, and it's just like, right, I ran everyone through, and I screened off. I actually had a double screen in place.
Oh, lovely.
For turn 7, I had a double screen in place, and then I was able to just bang it in and win the game.
We should just say here that, stalling out to late and having a double screen in place, having flipped your opponent, it's like Amazon Nirvana, that is, isn't it?
It's lovely, yeah. It is really.
At the end of the tournament, you have reached enlightenment.
Exactly. You've turned them. You've gone through their defenses. You've run through enough, and then you've managed to get 2 layers of screen in place.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
That's a great end to the tournament.
It
to
was.
Be fair.
Yeah. So I ended 2-1-1. But the most important thing, Fear, is I really, really enjoyed myself.
Yes.
Good. I like the way Amazons play. I like the puzzles that they set. Sure, I don't enjoy being down that many players in some of those matchups, but I had chances in all of them. I had to pull something out my backside versus the goblins, and I did. I still had chances versus the lizards. Even with down 3 of my best pieces. Versus the second lizards as well. I was bleeding players, hemorrhaging players, and still had a chance at winning that game. And it ended up a draw anyway. And then the Orc guy makes a decision, but I also had a game plan going into that second half where if he had wanted to stall it, I knew what I was going to try and do. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that tournament. And again, one more shout out to No Number for these tournaments, and do check them out, guys. At his Tabletop Republic in High Wycombe.
Awesome.
So I won't come on to who won and whatnot, because presumably we're about to do a roundup of that. So maybe we could start.
Well, I don't know if I've got them in my.
Oh, that's June, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we're doing May, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, I'll let you know. I'll tell you who. I remember the results. So Dankin, who I played with the Lizards in Game 2, actually went 4-0-0 and won the tournament. So
well done, Dankin.
First NAF trophy, I believe. So well done, Dankin. Yeah. Very, very solid. And Granota's Slan came second with a 3-0-1 record. So it was a tight tournament, actually. Not many people went undefeated. Falling Down Joe, who I drove in the car, did go undefeated. 1 win, 3 draws. So undefeated, finished 5th, I believe, which is great to go undefeated at a tournament.
What did you say he was using again, sorry?
Dark Elves. Dark Elves.
Dark Elves, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then big shout out to Rusty, who I also drove it in the car to the tournament, who won the Stunty Cup with his Morg Snotlings.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really good. So he was suitably chuffed with that one. So well done to those guys. I can't remember who won the other trophies and stuff. So I think No Number picked up most Kaz himself.
Shocking.
Yeah, absolutely shocking. Had a photograph taken shaking hands with himself. Yeah, unbelievable. Rigged.
Okay.
Rigged. Really, really good tournament, and well done, Dankin, and well done, Rusty, for Stunty Cup.
Yeah, amazing. And it sounds like you'll be back for 11. Yeah.
Yes, well, yes. Whether I'll be back for 11 this year, I'm not sure, but I am going to the Red Trophy, which is my next tournament. That will be my next one in August. Is the Red Trophy, which is the double dayer. So if anyone's going to that one, that will be the next one where I'm at. So if you want to come say hi, I will be there. Please do come up and just chat about anything that you fancy, Blood Bowl, podcast, etc.
Wow.
Right. Shall we do a roundup of May? Because we didn't do we did the roundup in the last time we did a roundup. We did a really long one, didn't we? Because we
March and April.
March and April. So yeah, are we doing the May roundup and then calling it a day?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start with NAF because obviously you were at NAF.
Oh,
NAF
yes, I was.
We knew that
I'd erased it from my memory.
Right. Well, we knew that Sporran won with his orcs, and we knew that Bunio came second with his dwarves.
Yes. Second in terms of the NAFs, the NAF champs' version of second, because they have they then have the best of the league. Is it? Is the top of the rest? Best of the rest? I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah. Well, they had then the guy that sort of is the next best sort of league champion is Pete W. With
Congratulations, Pete. Yep.
A great day a great weekend for the W family with Thomas W's and his lizards picking up the rising star for the highest placed child in the tournament.
Yes, wonderful.
Loki's lizards picked up the most touchdowns.
Indeed.
I believe you played. Is it Mac?
Mac, the guy
Mac's
who
Corn
picked up most Kaz. Yes.
Most Kaz. Half a Brain's Goblins took home the Stunty Cup.
Yeah, tight Stunty Cup actually. Yudlagar was leading that for I think Yudlagar was leading for 4 rounds before he got overtaken for Stunty Cup.
Oh, I know that Speeding Bullet. One of my friends, Speeding Bullet. I know he beat Yudlagar with his Wood Elves.
Oh,
that cost Yudlagar.
Oh
yeah.
Dear.
And then a guy that I know as being an excellent player and someone that seems to get picked for Team England and stuff, Nippy Longscar.
Oh yes.
He took home best painted for his Wood Elves.
Fantastic.
Yeah, not bad, eh?
That's brilliant. Yeah, and that was a very, very competitive best painted from what I could see.
It will be, yeah, it would be. So the next tournament along was the Isle of Wight Speed Bowl.
Fantastic.
You might like this.
Okay.
Blood Bowl 2 Champions League proponent. They play 2-minute turns.
Oh, lovely. I do like a fast-paced Blood Bowl game.
Yeah. You get $1 million to build your team.
Okay, only $1 million. Okay.
And you're allowed to award 1 primary skill before each round.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that certainly favours some teams, but then I guess if you're taking dwarves and have only got 2-minute turns, you could easily find yourself getting stuck. So yeah, maybe an undead, maybe a dark elf would work.
I think going back into antiquity when tournament Blood Bowl first started, having a sort of $1 million gold pieces and awarding a skill between each round was pretty much the way all these things were done. Once they worked out that progression wasn't a great idea. So yeah, I think undead probably are the team.
Yep.
I don't know. But they also allow stars.
Oh, Oh wow. Okay. I'm suddenly thinking Underworld actually.
Well, here we go. So the winner was Arknolox with his or their flings.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
The runner-up was Boba Fett's mum.
Wow.
Orcs.
That is an amazing NAF name.
Yeah,
That is
Boba
an
Fett's mum
amazing NAF name. Wow.
with orcs. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Arknolox's flings also took home most touchdowns,
Oh
and obviously the Stunty Cup.
yes.
And some goblins, coached by Schumer, took home most Kaz.
Oh wow. Okay, so complete. Orcs is a good shout there, I think actually as well, isn't it? Because you just get that block, don't you? You get that start, and you could take the thrower for the sure hands.
Mate, I'm not being funny. I'm not. If I'm sitting down opposite Boba Fett's mum, she could win, mate. I'm not.
Oh, very good, very good.
So we go from there to the Scrumpy Cup in Somerset.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Scrumpy Cup.
Yeah. 1.15 team build, 3 tiers based on the Games Workshop tiers.
So orcs are pretty good then.
Yep. 30 star player points for tier 1, 42.
So orcs are incredibly good.
Yeah, 2 extra skills for tier 2 and 54 for tier 3. What do I put it? You can spend those star player points any way you want, including randoms.
Oh wow. Okay. So orcs and snotlings are my go-to here if stars are allowed.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't written down rookies, bribes, master chef only. What I've written down for the. So you can take righteous rookies, you can take bribes, and
even more so than snotlings and snotlings and orcs seem the picks here.
Well, Neil Watt.
Oh yes, I know the name.
One of the guys who's usually responsible for running the stuff on Fumble.
Yep.
Neil Watt won the tournament with his ogres.
Wow. Oh, very good. But I guess if you can spend the SPP however you want, you can probably get a lot of block ogres, can't you?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where we're going with this.
Ugh, yuck. Okay.
And the righteous rookies as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, righteous rookies. Yeah.
Maverick.
Oh yes.
Great player. He came second with his Vamps.
Oh, very good. Well done, Maverick.
Well, I'd be guessing he'd be stacking.
Yeah, stacking and yep.
Neil Watt also took home the TD and the Stunty Cup, and Auntie Moon took home the casualties with Zons.
Oh, congratulations to Auntie Moon. Well done.
Yeah.
Member of Squad Chaos. Auntie Moon.
There we go. Okay. And then we go over to Colchester.
Okay.
Where your Team Wales teammate SCS Sam.
Oh yes.
Runs the Kosh team tournament.
Indeed.
So 4 games, 3-player teams, 1.1k build with a 50k bonus if you do not take a star.
Oh, very nice.
Right, this is complicated. All the teams are given a points value between 3 point and 1 point. Right?
Okay.
Each of the races is given a value.
Each of the races, it's like Fumble. It's like the black box trophy, isn't it? You're not allowed a certain number of points. You can have like 6 points, but you can't have 7 points or whatever it is.
Yeah. So your team has 9 points to spend.
Okay.
But the skill pack that you get to apply all 3 of your races is determined by how many points you have left over when each coach has chosen their races.
Ooh.
So if you choose races that are lower tiered, that are obviously only costing 1 point, so say you've got 6 points left, you get quite a lot of skills. If you go the other way and burn all of your points picking better teams, obviously your skill pack that you get to apply to
interesting.
It's fairly rubbish. Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you've got 0 to 1 points left, each team only gets to use 4 primary skills.
Okay.
if you've got between 3 and I don't know if I've written this down correctly. I think if you've got between 3 and 6 points left, you get 7 primary. No, sorry. If you've got 6 points left, you get 7 primary and 3 secondary. The winning team was Team W.
Okay. Could this have Pete W
They've
and
had a good
Thomas
month.
W on it?
Yeah, they've had a good month. So Pete W, Thomas W, and a bit of a I'm told he's referred to as Uncle Goo.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, so purple Goo.
So purple W, Pete W, Tom W, and purple W.
Yeah. So what I think that they did, I think if I remember this correctly, Thomas took his lizards, which were 2 points.
Okay.
Purple Goo took his took Old World Alliance, which for some reason cost 3 points. And and Pete took Goblins, which cost 1 point.
Very good.
So they spent 6, which gave them 3 points left, which gave them access to 6 primaries and 2 secondaries each team.
Ooh, lovely. That's super strong
Yeah.
for lizards, and fine for goblins, and very good for Old World Alliance as well.
Not bad at all, is it? I think Purple Goo took home best individual.
Oh, wow.
What
a surprise.
And he took home touchdowns.
Very nice.
Pete W took home casualties.
Oh my God, they've just wiped the floor.
Yeah. I'm guessing if there was a best child award, Thomas probably wins that as well. Itchin took home the Stunty Cup with Snotlings.
Ah, congratulations, Itchin.
So Pete W failed on that score.
Yeah.
And the best painted went to Rough and Tumble with his ogres. Or their ogres.
Fantastic. Well
Yeah,
done.
really, really, really interesting tournament, that.
Yeah.
Then we're in Lincoln at Imp Gaming, UKTC rule set. Guess what race won? UKTC rule set.
What was good? Renegades.
Yeah, bang on.
Easy.
G. McLean wins with Pact. Runner-up is Danger Rat with High Elf.
Yes.
McLean also takes home the touchdowns. Ads, the Fiend, got most Kaz with Black Orcs. Stunty's Dark Soul with the Ogres. And the best painted was Tauren Beast with Slam.
Very nice. Very nice.
We're then over to Llandudno.
Yep.
For Acme Bowl.
Okay.
Again, another really interesting rule set. So tier 1, I think we're using the Games Workshop tiers again. So tier 1 gets 1.15 million and 30 star player points, and they can take a star.
Okay.
Tier 2 gets 1,200,000 gold pieces and 36 star player points, and they can take a star.
Okay, so Orcs, yep, okay.
Yeah, and tier 3 gets 1,250, 42 star player points, and 2 stars.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So.
However, if you wish to take a star, you will lose 6 star player points.
Okay.
Or you can lose 12 star player points and have access to Morg, Griff, or Hackflem.
Okay. I'm thinking there's still a lot of stunties with Morg, Griff, or Hackflem, and I'm still thinking that there's probably a fair few Orcs.
Yeah. Well, the winner was Orklabe with Orcs.
Okay.
The runner-up was a new coach, I think. Don't think he's played many tournaments before. Podfree?
Podfree.
Podfree. Yeah.
It's not quite as funny as Boba Fett's mum, but
yeah, Podfree.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. Okay.
So Podfree comes second with his lizards,
Yep.
and also takes home touchdowns. Norax takes Kaz with Orcs.
Very good.
And Lord Bonan, who
oh yes,
listeners of the podcast will remember I played against his minion-inspired goblin team
Yes.
at Water Bowl, and
Water Bowl,
whose board I once spilled a bottle of Coke over.
Yes, indeed, I remember.
And now own, having swapped to Owen, when he took home the Stunty Cup with goblins.
Congratulations.
Minion goblins as well.
Minion goblins, yeah, brilliant.
We then head over to Nottinghamshire for the Chaos Wastes Cup, hosted by Wobbert.
Ah, good old Wobbert.
Yeah. Who I thought lived in Gloucestershire, but maybe he's moved. I don't know.
I believe he's moved, yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, 1200 TV, 3 skills. A random skill is allocated after each round.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget, this is the Chaos Wastes Cup, okay? This has got
Yeah.
only chaos inducements and stars are available, but they're available to all the teams.
Oh.
Except for Hatfab and Morg, who are on holiday. Because otherwise that's what anyone would take, and that's what he said.
Good. Yeah, very good. Very good. I like that.
Yeah, our winner was Spleggy with Chorf.
Okay.
Our runner-up was Lord Chelmsford with Norse.
Okay. Not bad.
Our touchdowns, I think, are Dark Hair with Skaven.
Okay.
It is a Dazamak with Orc.
It's a tournament like that. You really wonder how much impact the random skills had, because obviously, let's say you and I sit down opposite each other for rolling randoms, and I roll Fend and you roll Wrestle, or I roll Strong Arm and you roll Guard.
Yeah.
It's like how much of an impact do these have?
You know what though? I mean, Spleggy, the winner, is obviously a very well regarded coach.
Oh yes. Obviously there's
he's got himself involved in the the England setup, and I think he's a part of their European team for the. I've heard it said by people that are far better than me, that the more random you make the rule set, the more likely it is that one of the stronger players in the room wins the tournament.
Oh, interesting.
Because they cope better with the random.
Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah. They adapt their play style accordingly, whether they need it or not.
Yeah, if you stick down a lizard team with 6 block on it, above a certain level of experience, everybody roughly has an idea what they're doing.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
The minute that you give someone 5 minutes notice of the fact that they've got to sit down and play with the lizard man team that's got, jump up, diving tackle, wrestle, whatever on the skinks. I don't know. Actually, then it becomes more likely that the more experienced player adapts more quickly. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and the only time I ever did this kind of tournament was I went to one where I took Amazons, because it was you started with 1300 TV and no skills, and you would add 2 skills after game 1 and 2 skills after game 2. So your game 3 you would have 4 skills. So yes. I knew what I was doing was I was taking Amazons, and I was with Roxy at 1300, no problem, and I was going to take 2 guard blitzes after game 1 and 2 guard blitzes after game 2. However, you rolled the dice in the old rules for the 2016 for leveling up, and my second opponent was Skaven and had rolled a double and chose to take Claw because he had rolled a double. Whereas actually he probably should have just gone Guard Almighty Blow on the but because he went, I've rolled a double, I'll take Claw.
Oh, better take it,
Yeah.
Double fever.
Indeed.
And then the final one, we're in London for Unleash the Dragon.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's run by another chap involved in the sort of the Welsh Blood Bowl setup, Leinster.
Yes.
And it uses the rules for the Welsh Nationals, which
fantastic.
have just been and gone. And look, I didn't write all this down because obviously we were expecting to do this a week or so ago, but you got COVID and so on.
I had COVID. I couldn't talk.
The Welsh national rule set's really interesting because it kind of was. You look it up if people get a chance to find it. It's one of the few rule sets that I found that I think almost gives you the opportunity to take any of the megastar teams in this format. From Chorfs with Hack Phlegm to Roller Dwarfs to stacked vampires. It seemed to me like there was an awful lot of options in that rule set. So I thought it was quite an interesting one. But anyway, they ran this out, I think, for a one-dayer in London.
Okay.
I'm guessing to try it out. The winner was Alchemist with Dark Elf.
Oh, very nice. I know Alchemist. Yeah, very good.
And it's 1,200 gold, this one.
1,200, yep.
Yeah, so interesting. You remember that Purple Chess was knocking around a Dark Elf roster at about 1160.
Yes, I do.
But it seems like he found a space for it in this tournament because he came second.
Oh, congratulations, PC! You made a roster fit.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And then a friend of yours, a former opponent, I think, or someone at least that you was sat next to you or near you at UKTC, B-Bart.
Oh yes.
Got touchdowns with his Skaven.
Oh, fantastic! Well done.
Yogi Bedlam Bear won Best Kaz with Norse. Grim Jum won Stunty with Goblins. And the delightfully titled Chaos Hugs were painted with their Pro Elves Elven Union.
There are some very creative NAF names coming out of the woodwork now, aren't there?
I know, Boba Fett's mum, Chaos.
Oh.
What did you have earlier? Forgot the one that you played against. Oh, Boat Pig. Wow.
Yeah, Boat Pig. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of the roundup. What a month and a bit of Blood Bowl. It's 6 weeks, I think, since we did the last one of these.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Crazy amount of stuff been going on. Good to see Blood Bowl is alive and well as ever.
Yeah, it's thriving, and we haven't had any releases for Blood Bowl from Games Workshop for a bit, so I'd imagine we should be seeing one on the horizon soon. I'm just speculation, right? Just because obviously they've had the in the Warhammer world, they've had the Horus Heresy stuff come out, and they've had some new Necromunda stuff, and a bit of Warhammer Sigmar stuff come out and stuff. So it's about time that Blood Bowl gets another shove. Having just had the Norse released, so I would anticipate that by the time we do another one of these, we might have some more Blood Bowl news from GW. You never know.
Yeah, and look, I've enjoyed the new Norse to the extent I'm considering buying a box of them.
Wow, that is high praise.
So I've got a because I think I'd sort of said to you that I think it was clear probably from some of our earlier podcasts that High Elves, I really loved playing them particularly, and I'm on a bit of a mission. You've got a Euro Bowl to go and play, so you've got to focus in on being good with something. Whereas I think I probably got a bit of space to just focus on really trying to find what I think my team is.
Yeah.
I'm all right with a lot of teams, but what do I really enjoy playing? So. And Norse might have made the cut. I think the strong rumour mill, and like yourself, I'm not involved at Games Workshop. I don't have a best mate that works there, or any reason. But the rumour mill seems to be suggesting it'll be another one of the Team of Legends teams rather than a brand new release.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing as well. Yep.
And that would make sense. So, my gut would be like Amazons or Tomb Kings or something.
Yeah, this is what I'm hearing as well.
So that would be great and really interesting. Amazons are obviously quite strong and a favourite of both of ours. Tomb Kings already had a bit of a boost, I think, with the thick skull.
The thick skull, yeah. No, exactly, yeah.
Be excited to see what they do. Amazons worry me slightly because I think they are quite delicate in the way that they're balanced, and so I think if you were going to take something away from them, you'd have to give them something, I suppose.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
But I don't see a problem with having an AV team with universal dodge. You've got a Norse team that have pretty much got universal block, and you got dwarves that have pretty much got universal block. So I don't see a problem with the keeping the Dodge. Hopefully they keep that. I don't know. It'd be exciting. It'd be exciting to see what they do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we just wait and see. So there's that maybe on the horizon. But as you say, I think Blood Bowl is thriving at the moment, which is really, really exciting. And
it is.
yeah.
So we should just mention that you have your YouTube channel, Hellboy Blood Bowl on YouTube. Although someone might be listening to this on there already.
Yeah, they may well be. Yep.
And you occasionally stream? Still?
I do occasionally stream. Yeah, I've had to. Unfortunately, as I say, I've been somewhat unwell with COVID, and real life things have taken over somewhat to the point where I'm just very fatigued. So I don't really have the energy to stream that much at the moment. But yes, when I do stream, I am over on twitch.tv/Hellboy_. I do intend to do some more Blood Bowl. Maybe get some Fumble streamed. I might try and stream some of the Super League stuff. Try and stream some of the Fumble games as well. Not just Blood Bowl 2. So if people want to see what the Fumble client looks like, they can come and have a watch.
Yeah, excellent. And we'll hope to be back.
Yeah. I think so. I think our next one. I think our next one may well be July. Neither of us have any tournaments booked in July, but maybe we can do. We'll have a chat off air and stuff and see about doing some sort of TSD Euro Bowl kind of recap thing, and definitely get in the. We definitely need to do the community roundup anyway. We'll find something to talk about that's NAF Blood Bowl related. We'll have the Super League will have been running. Maybe we'll have some news on what's coming next for TSD kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. We might have a little holding episode before we then get back into our usual routine.
Yeah, because then you'll have a tournament in August, and I'll have September, and then
we're into.
You're going to have quite a big one at the start of November.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Very good. Right.
Excellent.
Well, that sounds like all of that. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. All the triple digit listeners that we get, you're all most welcome. And as I said earlier, do come up and say hello at tournaments. It is lovely to hear that people are enjoying it. And yeah, so this has been the Blood Bowl Diaries episode 7 with me, Hellboy,
and me, theFear.
So thank you very much, and we'll see you with the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye for now.